Hello, hello, hello. I am Arnette D. Love McSwain, and welcome to Real Talk Live with me. Listen, I am rolling solo today. My assistant didn't come in. You know, she normally does the show with me on Sundays, but she did not come in. She wasn't feeling well. And so we gotta pray that she feels better very soon. I got a surprise for her though, because y'all know how I am about my assistant, always ready to fire her. But I have someone that's willing to fly in and teach her how to be my assistant. Isn't that wonderful? Somebody's gonna come and fly in from down south to teach her how to be my assistant. I think that is great. And she doesn't know it yet, but when she watched this show, she will know that I have some training for her. So listen, so what are we going to discuss today, y'all? We're going to talk some story. Now, last week, if y'all remember, we did a show about with an intimacy coach. And we had a lot of conversations about relationships, about, introducing, I guess, sex to your child and your teenagers and all that stuff. And so I figured, since it's just us, we can just piggyback off of that show and talk about healthy relationships. And I mean healthy relationships not only between couples, intimate couples. I'm talking about healthy relationships in your life, like healthy relationships with your friend, your friends. Do you have the type of friends that you consider to be healthy relationship friends? Do you have the friends that lift you up? Do you have the friends that are always putting you down? Do you have friends that support you? And do you have friends that don't support you? When do you see that your friends, or when do you decide that your friends are not really your friends? When does it hit you that these people are not for you, but yet against you? And that's what I want to talk about today. So let's talk about the friendship. Listen, I remember having a friend. Let me tell you this, and it might be in my book, but I remember having a friend. We would go out and eat lunch all the time. We would go to each other's homes. We would chat all the time. And guess what? The whole time we were doing this, behind my back, she was seeing my friend. She was seeing my boyfriend. The entire time we were doing it. And what made it so bad, we were in the military, and so most of the time when you do something, your behavior travels, your actions travel with you. So there were other women. I was an E6. All of us were E6s, and other E6 women, they would invite me to lunch and they'd be like, you can go, but your friend can't go. And I was like, why y'all treat her like that? And they was like, listen, you be careful, because all she wants to do is get close to your man. And I'm like, what? No. And y'all, that's exactly what she did. She got close to my man. Because see, she didn't have any kids or nothing like that. We had a little apartment and stuff, but that's exactly what she did. Who has that? Who lets that type of behavior follow them? For one, that's my whole thing. This is what was following her from duty station to duty station, that all she does is get close to women so that she can get close to their man. And I gave her the benefit of the doubt, and I considered her a friend, and she did just what they said she was going to do. And I actually, caught her doing it, because she had some of his stuff in her house when he left, and I was like, whose stuff is that? And she told me it was Tony, and I said, my Tony? And so that's when I knew they was right. But see, she used to act just like a good friend. If I needed something, she would give it to me. So you gotta be real careful of who you call friends and how they treat you. You have to keep your mind open, because see, I didn't pick up on the signs. I didn't pick up on when she would ask me, have you seen him today, or have you talked to Tony? She would always ask me, and I'd be like, why are you in my business? Now I would say that, but I wouldn't think anything of it. Why are you in my business? That's all I would say, and I would drop it. So be mindful, guys, when somebody's asking you about your significant other. Do more than just say, why are you in my business? Inquire a little bit more, because it could be that they're trying to make plans behind your back, like she was. She would call me. She knew my every move. She knew what we did, because like if she, we were friends, so I'd be like, yeah, me and Tony did this and this, or I'm going to go around Tony's house. So she knew when I was there and stuff. So I learned from that to keep folks really out of your business. Even if they consider themselves your friend, keep them out your business. They don't need to know anything. They don't need to know your whole move, your every move, what you're about to do, when you're about to do. I tell you what, I'll tell you about my trip when I get back. I learned a lesson. And the thing was, it was a lesson because people were already trying to tell me about this individual. They was trying to tell me the type of person that she was, and I tried to take her at face value. I tried to, basically look for the good in her. I couldn't understand why people just did not like her. They didn't care for her. I'm telling you, the soldiers couldn't stand her. Like when we had a pie in the face, I was like, y'all not getting ready to put this stuff in my face. The soldier like, they would call me Sergeant McSwain. They were like, Sergeant McSwain, we would never do anything to you, but your friend, we gonna get her. I was like, what? So be careful of your relationships. Pay attention to the little things in your relationships, the details. Pay attention to detail in your relationship, and you just might find that those that you consider friends are not really your friends. I remember when another time I had this girlfriend that she lived with her fiance, had a couple kids and whatnot, and so my fiance and myself would go to their house for dinner sometimes, and I'm talking about the four of us be in the house. And one day my fiance was like, I don't like going over to her house, and I was like, why? Why you being such a party pooper? Why don't you want to go to my friend's house? Because it's my friend. You know what I'm saying? Everything was basically on him, and he was just trying to tell me what was going on. So I was like, come on, go with me. So we went over to their house for dinner, and he had already told me why he didn't want to go. He said she'd be staring at him, and it makes him feel uncomfortable, right? And I'm like, come on now, I know better, right? So we go over there, and the craziest thing, he just blurted out, why are you staring at me? Why are you looking at me like that? I mean, he did it smack dab in front of my face, and I looked up, and I'm like in awe, because I'm like, this is what he was telling me. He wanted me to know that this girl that I called my friend wasn't really a friend, and he just blasted her in front of me. And when I looked at her, she had the guilty look on her face, and she was like, what? Like she hadn't done anything. But the whole time, my fiance was telling the truth. Let me tell y'all something. I couldn't pack my baby up fast enough. I got my son packed. I got all our stuff, and we headed to that front door. And I took my fiance up out of there, because I had some apologizing to do. Because ladies or men, whatever, listen, when your significant other tells you something, you better listen. When they tell you to be mindful of someone that is not within your connection, so an outsider, you better listen, because they're the person you're supposed to be backing. And instead of me backing him, I was like backing her, thinking that she was innocent. So he felt the need, and I regret that he had to feel that way, but he felt the need to have to blast her out in front of me. And her man was in the other room. But at that time, he didn't care. He wanted me to see what type of person that I was walking around calling my friend. So we have to be careful with these relationships that we have. Are they good for us or are they bad for us? And then we have to be able, we really have to be able to stand alone. Sometimes we have to be by ourselves. It's okay to be in the house by yourself. You don't always have to have somebody in your face or always have to be in somebody's face, because all relationships aren't good relationships. So we have to sometimes remember that people are going to be in your life for a reason, a season, and sometimes just for a moment, just for a lesson. People come in your life. So sometimes you have to let go. And you know, sometimes it's so difficult to let people go or let things go. I understand that the difficulty it is to let something go that you feel like you want or feel like you have to have in your life. But you know what? All the signs are there. All the signs are there. I'm trying not to make this a sermon, so I'm trying to leave religion out, but y'all know that's hard for me because God is the pilot in my life, and He guides me. The Holy Spirit guides me and directs me, but it's hard a lot of times to leave certain things or certain people out of your life. And when God be showing you, hey, this person needs to go, or you need to stop this habit, it's not good for you. Even when your body is ailing, like people that smoke and your body started being torn down, and we still can't get rid of the nicotine or whatever, but we know we should let it go, but we just can't. It's like we're addicted to it, but we get addicted to people. We feel like we need them. We feel like to be needed, or feel like we're needed. We need them in our lives. But let me tell you something. It's better to let go. You would get over it. It's like a baby that's crying for something. After the time go by, they're able to stop crying and let go. And that's what we have to do when it comes to these dysfunctional relationships. We have to let go. If anybody start making me feel uncomfortable, start making me feel like I'm running behind them, start making me feel like I'm being rejected, but sometimes you're not being rejected, but you are being rejected. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Basically, we say they're leading you on, but really you're being rejected and then kept in the loop at the same time. Anybody start making me feel that way, I let go. You have to let go. You have to set yourself free. A lot of times the strongholds that be on us be the things that we cause on ourselves. That's what happens. We cause a lot of our own strongholds because we get intertwined in stuff where the red flags were already up in the beginning, and we don't let go. And so now we're stuck. Like I always say, stuck like Chuck. We're stuck, and we don't know how to get it out of it. And basically we have caused it on ourselves. So I say this to say, to say this. The moment that we realize that something is wrong in a relationship, we need to analyze it. Talk to the individual. And if it doesn't change, we need to let it go. If it doesn't work, we need to let it go. If they don't care, we need to let it go. Like with me, if you're my friend, I normally make friends with men. I'm just going to tell you, I normally make friends with men. I don't have too many women friends that aren't my blood relatives, okay? I got some that I went to school with, we went to high school with, that we're still close like sisters, but that's, when we get together. But as far as the women that I talk to daily, they're my family members. I have a huge family. So if any of them start falling off by the wayside, it's fine, because I got a bunch more to call on. And so what I do is, my friends normally be men. My best friend at one time was a man until he lied to me, and then I had to let him go. It was difficult because he was the one that pushed me to get started on the radio. He was the one that continued to push me to do my own business and give me pep talks and everything. But he lied to me, and I ended up having to let him go. But he was, I considered, my best friend. And so, like I said, a lot of my people that I communicate with be men, and they're my friends. But if I feel like I'm running behind them, or I'm doing all the calling, or I'm doing all the texting, or I'm initiating the first contact, I gotta let them go. Because see, friendship should be balanced. Friendship should be equal. I should be doing more for you as a friend than you're doing for me. And I'm not saying it has to be 50-50, eye for an eye. What I'm saying is we should be equally depending on each other. I shouldn't have to worry about, are you going to check on me when I tell you I'm ill? Because I should know that you're going to call me. My friend is going to call me to make sure that I'm okay, because I know I would call my friend to make sure that he's okay. And when you have friends that don't care about you when you say you're sick, or when you say you're having to go to the hospital, you have these type of friends that don't call and say, are you okay? Do you need anything? Do you need me to send you anything? You have to reevaluate the relationship. You have to look at it and say, okay, is this just an associate, or is this a real friend? See, let me tell you something about me being your friend. I don't care where you are. If I gotta get to you, I'm gonna get to you. If you in another town, you in Williamsburg, I'm coming to Williamsburg if you say you need me, because that's the type of friend I am, okay? If you get locked up, no, I'm not going to come get you the next day. I'm coming that night to get you. I'm putting up that money that night, because that's the type of friend I am. In return, I expect the same friend. If I say I'm in the hospital, I expect you to be beating feet to the hospital. If I get locked up for any reason, God forbid, I expect you to be getting a bondsman to get me out. If you're not that type of friend to me, I have to let you go. I have to put you in the associate file. You are an associate to me. I can't depend on you to do friend things, okay? Now, speaking of friends, we're talking about different types of relationships, okay? So now we're talking about other relationships. Let's say intimate relationships, okay? Now, the same thing, you have to evaluate these type of relationships. Are you putting more into the relationship than the next person? I'm not saying the same thing. You bring different things. This is how you're compatible. You both bring different things, but are you doing more than the other one? Are you more interested than your partner? Those things should be looked at, because we'll end up, let me put us together, in a relationship that's one-sided. We'll be in love, but your partner not. And you're wondering why your partner can run around on you and see other people, because you have committed to something that was only one-sided. Only one person was committed in the relationship, and that was you. And you should have picked that up, because you were doing more in the relationship. You were saying more. You were showing more. You basically was dating yourself. And it happens all of the time. And that's when you got to know when to pump the brakes, when to say stop, when to say enough is enough, when to sit back and realize you're the only one giving. And if you're the only one giving in a relationship, that means somebody else is doing all the taking. And that is not a relationship. That is not a partnership. If only one person is doing all the giving and the other one is doing all the taking. If you can't depend on your partner, if you can't call and say, hey, I had a bad day, without them rushing you off the phone. If you can't call and say, hey, I just lost my cousin, without them rushing you off the phone, you need to reevaluate that relationship, because only one person is doing the giving and the other one is doing the taking. Now, when you are able to do something for this individual and they all smiles and arms wide open, come on, think about it. What have they done for you? Are they doing the same for you? You know, and then sometimes we have to look at it when we're trying to be in a relationship with someone, an intimate relationship. Sometimes they just confused. Some people just don't know what they want. And when a person don't know what they want, they don't know how to treat you, because they don't want to lead you on in one way, or their minds go back and forth, I'm leading this person on, but I don't want to do that because I don't know if I want to be with that person. Listen, when you realize a person don't know exactly what they want, you know what you're supposed to do? Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Let them go. Make up their mind. Let them miss you if they're going to miss you. If they don't miss you, they won't come back. But if they miss you, if you're supposed to be the one that they want to be with, they will come back. And if they don't, so be it. You have saved yourself so much heartache. Leave them alone. Okay? Believe me. Listen, remember, I've told you, if a person is confused, do not let them bring you into that confusion. Remove yourself and remove yourself quickly. These are the relationships. This is what happens in relationships. That way you are not a part of hurting yourself. You are not a part of your own disappointment, because you knew your worth. You knew when to move out swiftly. And you don't have to say anything to move out swiftly. Matter of fact, stop saying stuff. Stop calling. Stop texting. Stop going to their house. Stop offering things. Just stop. Just stop. And if the person wants to be in your life, they will make a move. It's your turn, your move. And if they don't make that move, you just freed yourself from heartache. I promise you, when you have a free mind, when your mind is at peace, you have a better life. Because there's nothing worrying you. There's nothing stressing you. We're going to always have obstacles. Always have obstacles. But we cannot allow people to come in our lives and disturb our peace. We can't do it. We cannot do it. I don't care what makes them happy. Understand that it's all about our individual happiness. It's all about my peace of mind. You might want to be in my life, but if you wreck my peace, if you disturb my peace, you can't be in my life. And yes, sometimes I will tell a person that it's not going to work. And sometimes I just move away. It just depends. If you're too persistent about trying to be in my life and I feel like you're not a perfect fit or a good fit, I'm going to tell you, I'm sorry, it's not going to work. We can talk on the phone every once in a while. Every once in a while for me means never. That's what it means. Don't call me. And I sure won't call you. But to make it, sound good, we can talk every once in a while. Maybe we go out. We'll see. We'll see means never. But I'm trying to be polite. There are code words that people will pick up on that you can use to let them know that the relationship, whether it be a friendship, whether it be an intimate relationship, is just not going to work. Now, let me get on these relationships with families, because I won't keep you long. Relationship with families can be very difficult because many feel that you are obligated to have some type of relationship with them because you are family. But see, just like a regular person out on the street, I call them any Joe Blow. Just like any Joe Blow out on the street, family members can wreck your peace too. They can disturb your mood. And I'm not having it. I'm not having it. You will not disturb my mood. You will not stress me out. You will not live rent-free in my mind. I don't care if we have the same blood running through our veins. You will not put any kind of complications on my life, because I am going to remove myself from you. And what's going to happen, I'm going to still love you. You going to hate me, because that's what most of the time they do. they get mad at me and they want to talk about me and they want to pull other family members away from me. And guess what? I don't care. I don't care, because that's just more mess that's on the outside of my mind. I am not getting into that. And I advise you guys to learn how to disconnect. I love my family members. If anything was to happen to them, I would try to be there by their side if I can, but I won't push myself on anybody. And if you ever look at my eyes, y'all, if they ever tell me to mind my business, I will mind my business to the day I die. I will mind my business to the day I die. I'm not coming to no birthday parties. I'm not coming to no christenings. I'm not coming to no newborn births, reveal parties, none of that stuff. I'm going to mind my business until the day I die. So don't get mad and say she don't want to be a part of the family. She don't participate in no family events. Nope. I'm minding my business, and I will mind my business until I die. And if I'm on my deathbed, I don't need you to show up, because I'm still be minding my business. That is just how I am. Don't get mad at me. My mom don't like how I think, but I that's how I feel. If you ever tell me to mind my business, I will mind my business till I leave this earth. If a person don't want you around them, if a person don't want to be bothered with you, give them what they ask for. Give them what they ask for. And that's why I always say you have to be careful what you ask for, because sometimes you might not really mean it. And most people who tell me, stuff like don't stay out their business or don't do this and that, they don't mean it. But I give you what you ask for, and guess what? You stay mad at me, because I'm only giving you what you asked for, but you really want me in your life, and I'm sorry I can't give it to you because you didn't ask me for it. If you tell me to mind my business, you won't ask me to come back into your life again, and I can guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. You're going to ask me to come back, because I do very well in following orders, and sometimes you just have to be that way. You have to be that way because that releases the stress from you. I'm not worried about this over here. You're not worried about that over there. You're not worried about this person, that person. All you're doing is staying focused on you and what includes you. When people come to me, which they do all the time, asking for advice, I give them the best advice that I can, based on what I do and what I believe in and what may fit best for them. And they get to decide. It's like a consensus. I'm going to throw it out there to you, and you decide what parts you want to grab up and follow. Everybody can't be like me. I was once cold. I once had a cold heart, and I thank God for bringing me from that. And you know where that cold heart came from, right? The wrong relationship. The wrong relationship. But in that part, I didn't know it was wrong. I thought it was right. I thought God had blessed me with somebody that I was going to be, married to and had kids by and all that stuff. I was going to have a bunch of kids too, y'all. I was going to get him so many kids, it didn't make no sense how many kids I was going to get him. What? A whole bunch of them things. But that was the wrong relationship. And then from there, trying not to get into another wrong relationship, I built up this crazy wall, and I made myself a different person, a person that really couldn't be identified. That nice person that you see now, she did not exist. I was cold, y'all. I was cold as ice. I could just, didn't care about anything. I could just stop relationships and cut you off, and I can still do a little bit of that stuff, but now I have, what you would call conviction, where I can feel when that's not right, and I want to make it right, but back then I didn't care about no conviction. I went to St. Mattress every morning, St. Mattress every Sunday, you know what I'm saying, meaning I wasn't going to church. My foundation that I had, that I grew up with, that had disappeared. My belief in God was still there. I wasn't a fool, but Did I serve him? No. No. The enemy left me alone because I did my job serving him. So I ain't have to worry about nobody coming against me because I was already out in the world and I was of the world and I was just a hot mess. Do you hear me? But I was bougie, so you wouldn't be able to know. And I had, I had my house built. I was 22 years old when I had my house built with my baby. We went by our house and saw them as they built every piece of it. Every day we drive by our house, and I had 2 cars, and they were paid for, and everything in my house was paid for, and looked like a static display. It didn't look like anybody lived there. And I'm telling you this because, listen, when God don't give it to you, you're bound to lose it. When it's not a divine blessing, you're bound to lose it. You're bound to lose it. So be careful how you act. Be careful how you treat people. Be careful what you do in the relationships. And be careful the type of relationships that you keep. Be careful of all that. God will send you friends. He will see to it that you have the friends that you need or the family that you need around you. Don't beg anybody to be in your life. Don't plead with anybody, and you don't have to beg directly. That's trying hard to keep the call, and every day you're calling, and every day you're texting how you're doing, what you're doing, and you notice that their conversation is slacking and slacking and slacking and slacking. That's because you're not the person to be in their lives. So take notes. I tell people all the time, then they say, why did you leave me alone? Because you told me to. I didn't tell you. Yes, you did. You told me by your behavior. You told me, like, when I called you and you couldn't talk, but you didn't call me back. You told me then don't call you back. That's what you were saying to me. You told me when you text me those 1 or 2 word responses that you didn't want to text me anymore. You told me, and I took heed to it the first few times because guess what? I don't run behind nobody. This is when they're telling you, pay attention to the relationships, pay attention to the signs. People tell you without telling you directly how they want to be bothered with you, where your relationship is. You told me you didn't want anything serious. When did I tell you that? When you didn't ask me to go out to dinner on my birthday, or after my birthday, or for my birthday. You told me that I wasn't important to you. You told me I was not a priority when I told you that one of my grandparents had passed away and you didn't check on me. You told me that my feelings meant nothing to you. See, this is what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. I'm trying to throw some stuff out there so you can understand that these people are telling you where you stand in their lives, what priority level you have in their lives, so that you know to walk away. You know to walk away. You told me I wasn't important to you. You told me this friendship meant nothing. You told me we were just associates because you didn't care anything about what I was going through. You didn't care how my day went. You didn't care what was going on at work. You didn't care who stabbed me in the back, who hurt my feelings. You didn't care that I was crying. You told me that you weren't interested. So I want y'all to take heed to your relationships. Pay attention to how people are treating you. Listen to the words that they're saying. All jokes aren't just jokes. Some jokes are them telling you the truth. Okay? Some jokes are telling you that you're not good enough to be in my life. Some jokes are telling you that, yeah, I don't deal with heavy-set women because you don't work out. You don't eat. You need to work out. Don't eat that. They're telling you what they like. They're telling you that they don't want you because you don't work out. They're telling you don't want you because you eat meat. And you don't need to eat meat because you need to work on losing weight. They're telling you everything. Listen to what people say. Listen to these people. They're telling you the type of relationships or the type of relationship that you have with them. Stop letting people talk over your head. Listen to them. receive the communication, and then respond to it. And that will let you know what type of relationship you have. Okay? Whether it be from family, whether it be friend or foe, it's still a type of relationship. Make sure it's productive and make sure it's healthy. Thank you so much for joining me today on Real Talk Live with Arnette D. Love. And I pray that somebody can take away from this talk story something that will strengthen their relationships. You take care, and I will definitely see y'all on next Sunday at 2 o'clock.